Hello and welcome to Business Reporter's Industrial Innovations campaign. I'm Alistair Greener. Autonomous driving, that's vehicles operated by machines, not humans, is set to transform the way we travel. But it's not without dangers. Stories continue to emerge of pedestrians being hit by driverless cars, and it fuels a feeling of anxiety that we will soon be sharing our roads with robots. So are we heading towards a perilous future for road safety? Or is there something that can be done to make driverless vehicles safer? At present, the AI and machine learning tools used in driverless vehicles see pedestrians just as black boxes, devoid of the kinds of signals that human drivers pick up on to determine what, for instance, a person at a road crossing might do next. Can driverless cars develop the intelligence that human drivers have? And will this make people excited about the driverless future? This is what we're going to discuss today with Sam Anthony of Perceptive Automata. Good morning, Sam.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Now, driverless cars have been around for several years now, and manufacturers continue to refine the technology. What impact are they having on the way humans move around?
So it's interesting. They are around and they're not around, right? So they've been in development for years, and there are many places where they're being tested, but there actually aren't many places where you can order up an autonomous car to take you on a ride somewhere. And there's a reason for that. So for all the advances they've made, these vehicles still can't operate in dense urban areas and kind of the places where people are.
Can you briefly explain the technology being used in self-driving cars?
To be honest with you, it's kind of improbable for people who are experts in this too. The amount of technology that goes into a self-driving car is astounding. To take the inputs from the sensors they have in these vehicles and to turn those inputs into something that a computer can understand and can act on requires an enormous amount of machine learning. For instance, just to know where something is in the environment, just to know where a pedestrian is, takes an enormous amount of computational effort. And then to go from that to understanding that it's a person and understanding how to operate on them, each of those problems is extraordinary in scale.
Stories of accidents caused by driverless vehicles continue to surface in the news, and it's making people afraid of the potential for them to become mainstays of human transport. How are these accidents caused on the whole?
So we as an industry, our goal has to be to make these vehicles work so that people aren't afraid of them, so that people interact with them just like they would interact with any other vehicle, except even safer. The challenge is that these vehicles see the world dramatically differently than humans do. For instance, there have been accidents where a self-driving vehicle couldn't see a stopped vehicle on a highway. Or there are accidents where a self-driving vehicle comes to a stop when a human driver never would, because the self-driving vehicle sees something that isn't there or can't understand what's going to happen in the world. So solving those problems is really the big outstanding challenge for self-driving cars.
Take us through the technology you've developed. How can it make driverless cars safer?
When there's a pedestrian in front of a self-driving car, right now what they see is essentially a black box. It's a black box with some numbers attached. What we do with our SOMI product is we allow these vehicles to see pedestrians as humans, as people with thoughts in their heads and ideas of what they want and how they want to interact with the vehicle.
How does your solution work? How do you get into the head of people on the road?
When you train a machine learning model, what you do is you take a whole bunch of examples of what you want it to learn, and those examples have labels. The traditional way of doing machine learning, those labels are very simple, and they're just generated by some process that you don't really care about. For us, we take very seriously that labeling can be and is done by humans, and humans have an incredible ability to understand other humans. So by asking rich and deep questions of humans as we train these models, what we end up with is machine learning models, is AI that can look at people and can answer questions about them in a human-like way. Answer questions like, well, does that person want to cross in front of you? Do they know that you're there? Questions about what's in their head.
So you aim at being able to read intent just as well as actions?
Exactly. So what we're trying to figure out is not, what physical location is that person going to be in the future, but what do they want from you? What's in their head? What's their state of mind at the present moment? That's why we call our product State of Mind AI.
What's the take-up of your solution and who are your customers?
Our customers are companies that are deploying fleets of autonomous vehicles. They're automotive manufacturers that are working on the next generation of advanced driver assist systems. We sell our software as a module to them, and they deploy it in order to enable behavior out of these vehicles that's safe and understandable and reassuring.
Could a majority of vehicles soon be driverless?
If we can solve the problems that Perceptive Automata allows our customers to solve, then that allows for self-driving cars to be deployed in dense urban areas where there are lots of people and lots of places that they want to go. I think it's going to be a while before you see a lot of that. What I really think you're going to see with self-driving cars is you're going to see more and more autonomy and autonomous driving in specific domains. So maybe you'll see a shuttle on a college campus, or you'll buy a car which has more advanced driver assist functionality. But the real prize, the real payoff for this technology is those dense urban areas, because then that can really transform the way that we get around in cities and in our worlds. And so that's what we're aiming for. And even if it's a long way off, we certainly think it's worth it. And we also think that by deploying our solution, our customers will be much more quickly able to get to that situation.
Sam Anthony, co-founder and CTO of Perceptive Automata, thank you very much indeed.
Thanks so much for having me.